Indecision is one of the most expensive habits in your business. Every time you delay a decision, whether it's raising your rates, hiring help, or joining a program to invest in your business, you are leaving money on the table. And here's the kicker. Waiting until you feel ready is a myth. If you wait until you're ready, you're going to be waiting forever. Like running a business is not easy. Like it's the same thing. Like, are you ready to have kids? Y'all, I wasn't ready to have kids. I thought I was ready. I wasn't ready. But you know what I'm saying. Today, we're going to talk about why overthinking costs you more than mistakes do. Okay. How decision speed becomes one of the most profitable skills that you can develop, and the tools that you can use to start making faster, smarter decisions in your business. So, why do designers get so stuck? Well, here in my experience, what I've seen running a team, being a designer myself, and having coached hundreds of interior designers in the past couple of years, there's this thing called perfectionism. Okay. There's we think that there's one right answer, and we're terrified of picking the wrong one. This could be with a coaching program. Okay. Do I go with the Interior Design Business Bakery, or do I go with another program that's similar in price? Also, it could be a program or it could be a lamp. Do I go with this lamp or that lamp? But here's the deal. There's no wrong one. There's no right answer. There's no wrong, well, except for with the program. Because the Interior Design Business Bakery is the right one. But what I'm saying is that we get stuck overthinking because we're terrified of picking the wrong one. And then there's scarcity thinking. We hesitate to spend money or invest because we're afraid it's going to run out. People pleasing. We avoid making hard calls with clients or team members because we don't want to upset anyone. And then finally, in the four buckets that I've seen, there's also the analysis paralysis with over researching. So we just tell ourselves that we're just going to get a little bit more information, but really we're spinning in circles instead of acting. Okay, so there's perfection. So why do we get stuck? Perfectionism, scarcity thinking, people pleasing, and over researching. Those are the four buckets that I can identify. And I'll be the first to admit, like, I used to do all of these. I was like the analysis girl, building spreadsheets and like all sorts of things. It was ridiculous. I thought delaying was keeping me safe, but really I was just paralyzed. And so it was just keeping me stuck. But here's the part that stings. Slow decisions are expensive. So let's just talk about pricing. Every month that you put off raising your fees is lost revenue. Even $1,000 increase adds up to tens of thousands over a year if you're booking projects regularly. Hiring. Delaying bringing on help means you're stuck doing admin work instead of CEO work. That's missed growth. And I'll tell you a story. I have in 2023, I had to let go of a couple team members. One of them was helping me with operations. And when I let them go, we were just I want to say spiraling because we were trying to keep up. Like this was an unplanned release. So we had to get our arms around all of the projects that one of the designers was working on, call the clients, try to keep the pace and maintain the other projects that we were running through a different designer. So it was a really hard year. It was also the same week that I opened Studio Works. So I have been running since 2023 without replacing operations just because I was scrambling to get things done. Oh yeah, we also released Sidemark that same month. So there was a lot going on. Needless to say, I was missing my operations director, but I didn't hire anybody. I hired somebody a few weeks ago. But let me tell you, I I was the bottleneck. And I delayed bringing on help because I thought that funds were tight. You guys know that everybody's leads are like diminished. Anyway, I'm just saying that I'm in this boat with y'all. I'm not preaching at you, I'm preaching with you. So there's pricing, putting off raising your fees, hiring, delaying bringing on help, investing in systems or programs. So if you're waiting 6 months to implement a CRM or join a program like the bakery, it means 6 months of inefficiency, 6 months of stress, 6 months of lost opportunity. And then finally, marketing. Okay. When you overthink every Instagram caption or email that you write, you end up invisible to the very clients that you want to reach. How many of you, how many of you feel like I'm talking to you right now? Overthinking every Instagram caption or email, waiting 6 months to implement a CRM. A CRM is a client relationship manager. Okay. Or joining a program like the bakery. Okay. Maybe it's hiring, delaying bringing on help. Or are you slow to make the decision to raise your rates? So indecision isn't a neutral standpoint. It costs you money, it costs you time, it costs you momentum. And speaking from this last recent, I hadn't hired decision, it costs you, I mean, like the stress that goes along with it. I didn't realize it until I had the help. So what I've learned is that speed beats perfection every time. Most decisions are reversible. Okay. You can adjust your process, you can adjust your fees, you can adjust your marketing. Like all of these things you can adjust later. Very few choices are permanent. What I've learned is that 80% clarity is enough. Waiting for 100% is a freaking fantasy. It's like my husband. Is he perfect? No. 80% perfect? 85% perfect? Yeah, for me. Okay, but if I'd been waiting for Prince Charming, Mr. Perfect, that was like all checked all the boxes, right? From a must-have all the way down to it would be nice. That's a fantasy. Buying a house. Do you find the perfect house? You have these are a must. I have to have a laundry room. I have to have a garage. I have to have, a kitchen. Yeah, of course you need to have a kitchen that's, but you know what I mean. Okay, would it be nice to have a folding station in that said laundry room? Absolutely. Would it be nice to have a three-car garage instead of the two? Yeah. But am I going to turn down a house that's, pretty damn close to perfect otherwise? No. So why do we feel like 80% clarity is not enough when we're making business decisions? So small, fast decisions stack up. And they also build momentum that makes the bigger decisions easier. And decision speed signals leadership. Your team, your vendors, and your clients all gain confidence when they see you lead with clarity. Okay, mistakes, it's a funny thing, mistakes actually move you forward. Indecision just keeps you stuck. An old mentor of mine okay, so this is a funny story. So back in the, I'm going to date myself, back when I was, let's see, I graduated college in 93. I'm trying to figure this out. 93, 94, 95. It was in 95. I was a young restaurant manager with, if you guys remember this, back in the day, Macaroni Grill. Okay, way back in the day. And I was a baby. I was 25 years old, managing a restaurant. And my general manager, my boss, told me, Michelle, just fail forward. Fail forward. So David Griego, thank you very much, because that message has stuck with me ever since then. Fail forward. You might make a mistake, but you're going to fall forward. Just make a decision. Okay? So I guess from there, when I was a baby at 25, I was like, well, how am I supposed to do that? How do you build the muscle? So over the years, as I have, become a general manager of the Macaroni Grill myself, and then did that until I was 30, and from there moved into another role in more of a sales capacity, and then a sales manager. I've built that muscle. First of all, set some deadlines. Like, don't give yourself 3 months to make a choice. Decide within a set window of days, not months. You give yourself 3 months to make a choice. What's going to happen is you're not even thinking about it for the first, what, 85 days. And then the last five, you're like, oh, shoot, I'm supposed to have that decision made. Okay. So set a deadline, days, not months. Ask, okay. So another manager of mine, when I was in the recruiting industry, I was the area director of this recruiting firm. I was a sales manager, basically. And the owner of the firm, it was a small boutique firm, but he would always say the numbers will tell you. When you're trying to make a decision, run the numbers. Will this, here's the decision, here's the tool that you can use to make a decision when it comes to financials is will this make or save money in the next 90 days? Okay. If yes, in my opinion, if yes, then do it. If not, then park it. Okay. Is it an investment? Will it turn around and make you money? Okay. And maybe 90 days is not always applicable, but if it's going to make you money and you have the money, it's an investment, not an expense. Okay. So let the numbers tell you. And then just, Nike's not wrong. Just do it. Just do it. Imperfect action always beats endless planning. Ah, so here's a good one as well. You could call it run the regret test. And what I mean by that is an example would be I was at a Tony Robbins event. This was back in 2016, maybe. Tony Robbins event. And here's the big man, just saying, if you got to the end of your life and you could meet the person you could have become, what would you regret not doing? And for me at that moment, it was becoming a mom. Okay. So I would regret if I got to the end of my life, met the person I could have become. Okay. She'd be a mom. I wouldn't be. Okay. Will I regret doing this or regret not doing this more? That usually clears it up pretty quickly. So now, if you guys have been around for a while, I've got a 7-year-old daughter. And that was just kind of like I'd been tossing it around for a while. That was kind of the last clarity test. And then finally, these are just tools that I've used in regards to making decisions. And it's interesting, as I was trying to outline this podcast, I hadn't really given words to what sort of tools developed instinctually, but this has really been helpful for me to outline this as well. So here's the last one is use the 80-20 rule. Focus on the 20% of the decisions that create 80% of your results. Don't get bogged down in the tiny details. Hire the operations manager. Okay. So the goal is not reckless speed, it's confident, timely action that keeps your business moving forward. You have to be able to move forward.
You're an interior designer, not a marketer, but somehow you're stuck spending hours on SEO, social media, and email campaigns instead of doing what you love, designing beautiful spaces. Marketing shouldn't take over your business. That's why Sidemark was built by designers for designers. We offer done-for-you marketing services like SEO, paid ads, email, and even social media management so you don't have to lift a finger. Not quite ready to let someone run it all for you? We also have done with you software subscriptions that include all of the tools you need, along with live coaching, courses, and 24/7 live support to help you market smarter with a clear plan. Imagine getting back to doing more of why you started your business in the first place. Solve the marketing overwhelm and visit www.mysidemark.com today. That's www.mysidemark.com.
One of my interior design business bakery students, one of my bakers, Emily, had the money to join. Okay, I found this out afterwards. We were, gosh, I think I met her in High Point. Anyway, she told me that she had been lurking around, like listening to the podcast. She'd attended some of my free workshops, and she had the money to join. Okay, and she knew she needed help, but she spent 6 months over analyzing. She said she wasn't ready, that she should wait until she had more clients, that she needed to do just a little more research on the other programs out there. Okay, so 6 months later, she finally joined. And within weeks, she dove into module 3 and restructured her pricing and the product and the services that she offered. And she raised her rates confidently. She looked back. She told me this. She looked back and did the math and realized that those 6 months of hesitation had cost her tens of thousands of dollars. Because if she had raised her rate 6 months prior, she would have already earned back multiple times the investment of the program, like multiple. So her indecision did not keep her safe. It kept her small. And she told me, and she'll tell you now, the cost of waiting was far higher than the cost of making the decision and moving forward. So here's what I want you to remember. Indecision is more expensive than mistakes. Business growth does not come from perfect choices. It comes from consistent, timely ones. Let me repeat that. Business growth does not come from perfect choices. It comes from consistent, timely ones. So every time you delay, you're not just stalling, you're actively losing profit and momentum. And might I also say, you're also losing confidence in yourself. It like erodes your confidence when you cannot make a decision. So just decide, move, adjust. That's how you grow faster. That is how you grow faster. My husband jokes that I'm the person who I ready aim. I instead of ready aim fire, it's fire ready aim. Yeah. So just keep that in mind, okay? Decide, move, and then you can adjust. So inside the interior design business bakery, y'all, I'll help you stop spinning on the big decisions. Your pricing, your processes, your marketing. We give you the tools, the templates, and the support so that you can make confident calls and start earning sooner. Because, like, the only thing worse than making a mistake is waiting so long that you lose thousands of dollars in the meantime. So, there you go, y'all. Why overthinking costs you more than mistakes do, and of course, how to fix it. That is just another rule of running a design business that no one else is going to tell you out loud. I'm Michelle Lynn, and I'll see you next time with more of the truths you actually need to hear. Hey, y'all. If you love the show and find it useful, I would really appreciate it if you would share with your friends and followers. And if you like what you're hearing, want to put a face with a name, and get even more business advice, then join me in my Facebook group, the Interior Designers Business Launchpad. Yeah, I know, it's Facebook. But just come on in for the training and then leave without scrolling your feed. It's fun. I promise you'll enjoy it. And finally, I hear it's good for business to get ratings on your podcasts. So please drop yours on whatever platform you use to listen to this. We're all about community over competition. So let's work on elevating our industry one designer at a time. See you next time.